Alright, how we doing everybody? I'm just starting off here. Gonna be kicking off in about 10, 11 mics for our company ceremony.
There we go. Perfect.
Thank you.
I mean, I guess
All
you
right.
give up.
Yeah, it shows
No
that
plans. You want to follow
mine
in?
is
check.
there.
Teams. Right. First serve. First gets.
Yeah,
Two more
I
spots
see it
in
too.
first round.
You see it too, right?
One more spot in first round.
Well, I see mine. What the hell?
Nobody wants to be in the first row.
Not on the left side, Simkins.
How we doing, Cadet?
Oh, where? Here.
Very good, Major. I literally
There we go.
just sent you a text.
Oh,
Everybody else.
sorry, I was setting up my stream.
You're alright.
Alright, I see mine. Not sure what is going on.
Yeah, I see mine.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can see your own, but others can't see it. So you need to go into the Ace arsenal, which is the green boxes, Ace and Cracked on it, and then just switch to a different patch and back to your own patch. Close it,
Okay.
and then you can move away.
So why I'm not getting into Ace?
Yes, I
You
did
need
copy
to
those.
Ace and
I
Cracked on
hit
it,
the
so
resolve
Windows
button
key,
so you could see that I
Fractions,
took care of them.
Awesome.
We will be switching to these arsenals soon. So
I did add
you
two
might as well
others
just
as
save your
well
payload
per a
on
squad
your
leader that came and approached me saying that they're now in DMOSs, so they qualified for specialists, so I added those two.
Awesome. And did you
To put you in
copy
the
the
corner.
last CIB I added?
Yeah, from the rain
Awesome.
list.
Like, that was, yeah, that was like very recent. Yeah,
I mean, in game it's 5 years.
I already got them all.
Yeah, I just did it
Alright, looks good.
again.
Process yours.
Holy
Bam, piece of
shit. Let me see. Turn around. Yeah, I could see yours
Okay,
and your
take
rated.
it back.
Thunders, first squad, move over there. Thunders. In the wrong spot then. No, the other side. Right over there.
Anders, over by me. Also go put on your patch, my guy. You need your Scorpion patch.
Holy fuck. You're right there, Hendrix.
He just got that fucking Harley.
Hello?
Badass
Please
bike,
don't
bro.
actually push you,
Love
dog.
that hog.
Attack on guys. Make sure we put our TeamSpeak on push to talk.
Don't give me an option to get the patch over here.
Oh, you have to come to the green one, dude. Come to the green one and Ace interact. I see mine. Oh.
Which one's it under?
See
5
mine?
mics.
Sergeant Brock, you see mine?
Which one's it under?
Affirm.
Oh, okay. Yours. I don't see yours, Sergeant Brock.
Yeah, I don't see yours either, boss.
Alright, I'll take a look after ceremony. You got less than 5 mics.
And who's this guy right here? Owens.
Well, I guess I should be in uniform. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Real good
Take
though.
Owens over there with you too. Owens, go with Sergeant
Ooh,
Brock.
Yeah,
lucky I'm
apologies.
inside GFC.
You good?
If I'm just making sure everybody's in uniform.
Purdy. Come on, Purdy.
Alright, go ahead.
Over.
Post one.
He told me to come with you, Sergeant Brock.
Hey, firm, come over to one of these green arsenals. Use your Windows key, Ace interaction. Get into the
Ah,
arsenal.
that shit looks pretty, dude.
All right.
All right, over on the left, look at the. You got a menu there.
Kicking off here in about 5 mics.
Shield-looking thing that says insignia. Click on that.
Got right now about 20-ish, 25.
Up near the top, it's the third patch from the top. Is third.
Sanders,
And
line up on
it's
the left.
1A 11 Scorpions. Click that. That'll put your squad.
Put
patch
you guys'
on your
rifle away.
uniform.
Purdy, make sure to push the top.
All right.
All right, now go
I'm
on
not
the
pushing
loadout,
talk.
All right.
and then save.
Don't use
Just
push and
pick a
talk
date
around
and
here.
save that as your
Look at those big
daytime loadout.
guns.
That's what she said. Oh man, we got a pose and everything. Damn.
I want to move up here.
All right, I see it. You're good to go. All right, you got my patch, guys.
Yes.
Cool.
Hey, how we doing, buddy? Just getting set up, waiting on formation to form before we go into our ceremony. So.
Hey, Sam. Move forward just like a quarter step. So we're all in line. Make sure your feet are lining up with the guys next to you. All right, that's better.
Not too bad, not too bad. A lot of work. Just actually had a house party yesterday, so recovering from that. But other than that, living life, doing well. Are you a former soldier of the 3rd? I don't recall the name. I've seen you talk on here before, on chat, but. Ah, shit, yeah, Lermy. Okay, like I said, the name looked familiar. How you been, Lermy? It's because it's on my PlayStation. That's why I see it all the time. Plus, obviously, then, I think that's what your Steam is currently. Good. Yeah, I think it's, with this COVID bullshit going around, I think we all have a not so normal summer, but it does create a lot of obstacles, that's for sure. Some late arrivers.
their stuff.
Yeah.
Here, go ahead and form second rank.
You and what, 36 million others got laid off from work. Luckily, I'm in the right business. Food retail.
Attention.
I guess this is my go.
Major, first platoon, all present and accounted for.
Oh. All right, post. All right. How we doing, War Eagles? Everybody hear me just fine?
Affirm, sir.
All right,
Sir.
beautiful.
Yes, sir.
All right, welcome to August 2020. This year's flying by, that's for sure. But I guess we all have enough distractions in this year with what's going on in the world. So, welcome to online gaming. It's where it's booming. Let's see. Actually, have a fairly good list today as we continue to go throughout the months of 2020. We've been pretty well blessed. I mean, great leadership from all our SLs, all our fire team leaders, platoon staff. It creates a ton of opportunities, which we'll talk about today later on about growth and our continued effort to increase in size, but then also make sure our quality of soldier is of a high standard. So we'll be announcing the launch of another squad today and going over the leadership of those soldiers who's taking on those new leadership roles. But it wouldn't be possible without just our general staff, our general soldiers here, with recruiting and retention, the FIG side of things, for training, the leadership of our SLs and platoon staff to ensure the standards are met, activities met, accountability is met. I, from day one, have always said I'd rather have quality over quantity. There's units out there that are way bigger than us, do things a lot different, but we kind of have that longevity of units. I just saw another application came in this morning that they joined us or put in an application because you don't see a unit that was founded in 2003 still around. So, and that's a big thing, just being able to have that longevity. We're going to go with the flow, with the punches. There's been years that we've thrived and been double the sizes of where we are currently. We're announcing a third squad. Well, we've had up to 9 squads at one point in this unit between several games, but for Arma alone, we had 8. So, at one given time. So we go with the flow. We have good years, we have down years, we have steady years. And that's what we do, and it's part of the, I guess it's part of the race. The rabbit and the hare, or the hare and the turtle, right? I mean, we're definitely the turtle, but guess what? We win in the long run. So, kind of some notes off the beginning. I usually use them for closing. First, I'd like to announce we have 1 unit anniversary coming up here in August. It's a 1-year anniversary on August 27th for Sergeant Skanar. To hit that 1 year, to be an E5. Skanar actually just went on an LOA for a little while. But still, recognition needs to be heard for him and what he's done for our unit as an S2 clerk or Intel clerk. The coming up with the missions, the building the missions, and just going on that way, it's a pain, and to have it fall on one person is even harder. So obviously he's made a big impact in his first 365 days in our unit. So happy anniversary to him for I guess more towards the end of August here, but be sure if you see him, tell him happy anniversary. We did go through and do a promotion board in the month of July here, and outstanding results there. For promotion board for August here, so those that are going to be qualifying to receive potentially corporal in September, sergeant in September, staff sergeant in September. That board is going to be August 9th, so next Sunday at 1300. So about this time next Sunday. That's just to get some people through the promotion board, whether it's your first time or your second or third. We're constantly evolving that. Soldiers like Sergeant Drake are taking more lead in that as well with the retirement of First Sergeant Conless. So really just getting it back into the NCO Corps, holding those standards high and making sure that we're promoting the soldiers that want it more or less. Not just because you've been here the longest means that you're going to be the highest rank, but being the one that's knowledgeable, being the one that is knows our unit history, knows the SOPs, studies the field packets and the guides that are given during OSET or WLC, or it kind of gets harder as you move up and as you progress in certain courses as well and positions. So a fire team leader doesn't get the same questions a squad leader would get, or a corporal wouldn't get the same questions a staff sergeant would get. So they get harder as you go to make sure that we're promoting the best, because the best leadership provides what we have right now: growth in our unit and stability. So with growth, we do have another WLC, a Warrior Leadership course, on the books coming up August 29th and 30th. It's a 2-day course, roughly about 3 to 4 hours a day is what it's landing. That'll be led by myself and Cadet Lambert, along with some NCOs that's been through it as well, to provide guidance and just clarity in some of the questioning and some of the examples and whatnot in the course. So without further ado, though, that's kind of the notes side of things. All right. So the first people, let's get Drake, Purdy, and Sam post. All right. Buffets. All right. So these 3 soldiers went above and beyond in the month of July, or I guess just skated in August 1st for Purdy here. But these soldiers are being awarded the Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal for donating $50 or more in a calendar month. Drake and Purdy are receiving a V device for doubling that requirement of going over 100 in a calendar month of July. So we did have another, once again, it seems back to back, great donation months from soldiers. It's one of the staples of running a unit is the finance side of things. We recently just had our website hosting renewal that came out, and I think first time in, I don't know, usually we do it about every 3 years. First time that none actually came out of my pocket. It's the first time, I think, in the unit history, at least that I've been here. Mostly because we had so many funds come in from prior months that just sat there in our unit PayPal, and it was able to have enough to cover the $600-700 for the next 3 years. So we're good there on our website for the next 3 years. But I can't say enough about soldiers that donate. Definitely consistency. Those that donate, every couple months, every month, whether it is $5 or Specialist Purdy here that just loves us and gives us $200 every month. So a big shout out to soldiers like that. And it's not a requirement by any means. We appreciate every donation that comes in, but it's definitely a staple to keeping a unit solid is the finance side of things. So, big hua to these three. Hua.
Hua.
All right, Buffets. Thanks again, gentlemen. All right, fall back in. Just give me a second. I'm pushing this. Changing my push to talk because it's messing with me. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. All right. Next up, go ahead, get me Moose, Lucky, and Strickland. Post. All right, Buffets. All right, these three soldiers, Private Lucky being in front of us today, are receiving the Good Conduct Medal. The Good Conduct Medal is an award that is given out for, well, just like it says, good conduct, good attendance, accountability. Really, it's more or less an accountability style medal or ribbon. So it's given out every 3 months for good service. So it's one that you can rack up, for a year. And you can just keep going if you're doing well, if you do what's asked, and really that's it. I mean, good conduct equals the Good Conduct Medal. So congratulations and hua, congrats.
Hua.
Okay, Buffets. Right, fall back in. All right. This next one, give me Abraham, Ayers, and Cruz. Post. Not present? Or just first time posting and not sure how? I sure hope so. That you knew how. Alright. Saying not
Cruz
present.
and Abraham are absent, sir.
Copy. These three soldiers, reason I say they should know how is that they are receiving the National Defense Service Medal. With the National Defense Service Medal, it shows and they provided proof that they are members of a military, whether that is the U.S. military, in this case for all three of them, but any nation's military, if you can provide that proof. U.S. is a little easier to verify, as we do have a veterans database and we can look that up. But obviously a foreign force, we wouldn't have access to that because we're not spies. And we'd need a little bit more proof, picture, uniform, card, information like that. So big hua to these soldiers. I mean, adding U.S. military in, just any military into our realism unit here provides a lot of what we talked about with stability, strength, high standards. They provide a different view on things. I know we have a little bit of information I know about these three as they are fairly new, but I know we have a soldier that's stationed with the 173rd Airborne, so he's been through, the real airborne stuff, right? And then we also have another soldier that's been in for coming up on a decade now. Over a decade, actually. Is that a decade or 10 years, over 10 years. And as a squad leader in real life, we'll be able to provide a lot of information there, real life experiences, how things are done to help mold into what we can do in the realism unit. One thing with actual military vets is difficult to be in a unit sometimes like this. Definitely when you have 10 years in the real military. We don't operate 100% the way the real military does. So it is a transition. We can't do everything the real military does and get it into our unit. So we have to take that information, mold it into how it can be successful for us, and then utilize it. And I think that is that sweet spot that has made us, still here since 2003. So A big hoo to these three, and if you see them, thank them for their service. Cool. Next up, I know Skanar's not here. Skanar is hereby being awarded the Armed Forces Service Medal for serving in base maintenance now, who he is the actually NCYC of for the last 6 months. So the Armed Forces Service Medal is a medal for DMOS only. For serving in a DMOS, doesn't need to be leadership. You could just be a standard clerk or a standard position, entry level, and have been in a DMOS, any of our DMOSs, for 6 months. So if you think you qualify, check your service record per our SOPs and base maintenance, and the NCYCs of those DMOSs should be submitting your hire date of when you potentially entered a DMOS, in what position as well. So with that, go ahead, get me Brennan post. All right, Bellface. All right. So Brennan and actually Skanar are hereby being awarded the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal. So this one is unlike our service medal, this one is for kind of like time in service and being deployed within that time in service. So technically, all of us, for the most part, if you have a CIB or a CAB badge, awarded to you, you will qualify for this medal as soon as you hit that 12 months or 365 days time in service in the unit. So this one is awarded for just being deployed within those 12 months. So at times, I know we went, before we started Operation Thin Ice here, we didn't deploy for almost a year and a half. Prior to that was our last one. So, there are some timestamps in there that could potentially not qualify you. But in this case, congratulations to these two. They're being awarded the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal for serving in a deployed area within their 12 months of service. So congratulations. Hua.
Well,
All right. Bellface. Congrats. Fall back in. All right. Next up, I'm gonna read off a list. It's actually a fairly larger list, so I won't have everybody post. We had an air assault school that happened in the month of July. The soldiers being awarded their air assault badges include Brock, Hendricks, Toplek, Vandenberg, Moose, Sanders, Mooring, Sam, Carey, Purdy, and Skitz are all hereby being awarded their air assault badge. Most of them for the first time. I think only Sergeant Brock was a prior one. Actually, no, it is your first one, isn't it?
Affirm, sir.
So besides that list being their first air assault badge, the course was taught by Cadet Lambert, with me really just, helping a little bit, more or less dying. But congratulations to these soldiers. To get the air assault badge, I mean, that's one that we haven't ran that course in a good amount of time. Usually we try to run some of our courses about once a quarter to annually. I know we do have like Ranger School that only comes around once a year. We have other tough courses like that we're currently in development, like our Expert Infantry badge, things like that, to where they don't come around very often. So when you see the sign up and you see the opportunity, it's a good thing to try to adjust your schedule so that you can make it, as it is very important to be present and be there for those, as it gives you that opportunity. So a big hoo to those, that fairly large list. So congratulations. Cool. All right. Go ahead and get me Freeman, Simpkins, Parker, Woods, and Escabilla. I think I messed that up, of course, but
All right.
all right. Buffets. All right. So these 5 soldiers, the 2 present in front of you, are hereby being promoted to the grade and rank of E3, Private First Class. So ideally, this is kind of their first official promotion within our unit, outside of a training event. So most of everybody here, obviously, has completed basic training or OSET and AIT, and got their first rank. Most of us, Private Second Class. Those that were experts, obviously PFC right off the bat. So to get your first promotion in the unit, it's a few things. I mean, time in service, time in grade. You know, you gotta make sure that you have those 30 days. Activity side, you know, to make it to your first promotion, believe it or not, it's pretty hard. You see, well, we're all aware of the dropout rate of kind of lower enlisted every once in a while, right? I know fire team leaders and squad leaders sure are, because that's a constant battle that we have to fight. But to have soldiers make it through their first 30 days, 2 months usually, because you got a little bit of leeway in there from the day you get promoted through basic training to then hit that 30 days time of grade. Usually your first one is a month and a half. Could reach up to 2 if you got unlucky and hit the basic training day after our ceremony, you know. But this opens them up to a couple other DMOS options to get into, so that they can then move on to qualify for specialist, but then also potential leadership roles. Some of the fire team leaders we have are starting off as PFCs, so it's a stepping stone and it's their first promotion. So congratulations and hua. All right, Buffets. Fall back in. Congrats. All right. Next up, go ahead and get me Strickland, which I don't think's present, right?
He's at a family event, sir.
Copy. So I have, let's see, let's make sure since I have, if he's not here. All right. Then go ahead, get me Brennan as well, post.
Moving.
All right, Buffets. All right, so we have some shakeup here in 3 cab. Those that weren't aware, we received the retirement, I guess, request from Chief Morton. Chief Morton has been with us for quite a few years now, or a year or more for sure, and he's brought a lot of great things to our unit. You know, he has redesigned a lot of our training material. You know, he was a U.S. vet, or U.S. Army vet as well in aircraft, as a lot of what he does. Just real time caught up to him. He works in the medical field in real life right now, and with COVID and all that, just his time is extremely hard to come by, to provide to us, to provide to 3 cab. So with that, with his retirement effective technically the 5th of August here, Warrant Officer Brennan is hereby taking the lead and running with our 3 cab commander spot. So with that, we're also promoting him to Chief Warrant Officer 2, with his time in service and time in grade, and then obviously holding this role is pretty large, a large responsibility. So congratulations to you, Brennan, and then obviously I know what you can do with our 3 cab and what it is going to continue to kind of just pick up where Morton left off and push those standards and push those expectations, and provide support to our company via CAS, medevac, transport, you name it. If 3 cab can do it, they'll do it. So A big hua to them. Hua.
What?
And kind of with that, officially, Brennan would be entering our C staff core group, being that he is the commander of 3 cabs. So, congrats, Hua. Ballface. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right, fall back in. All right. So with that, I do have the promotion of Strickland now to Warrant Officer 1 for completion of his flight school through Brennan, as well as being placed in that 3 cab XOS position, more or less transitioning into there to be present when Brennan can't, or also provide training and guidance to the other soldiers within. Let's see.
All right.
Frost post. All right, Bellface. All right. So with the shake up a little bit, we have some aviator wings going out to Frost, which is a returning pilot actually, to our 3 cab. Came out of being our platoon medic after he re-enlisted with us and moved up to our flight program again to provide support and, for the most part, his talents. If you haven't flown in an aircraft with Frost here, generally your life isn't in danger for the most part, so that's a plus. So with that, awarding Frost the aviator wings along with Strickland. And while I have you up here, Frost did participate in our last operation 2 weeks ago, and has earned his combat action badge. So those that don't know, on the infantry side of things, we earn the combat infantry badge, so CIB, and then that stages up 1, 2, and 3. The combat action badge is awarded to soldiers that aren't in an infantry role or a medic role. So with that, that is what Frost earned, the cab. Hua. Congratulations. All right, Bellface. Hua. All right. So, if I can get Fields, Freeman, Vandenberg, Parker, Woods, and Robinoff post.
Vandenberg had to step away for a little bit.
Copy. All right, Bellface. All right, these soldiers, as I just got done talking about the combat action badge, are being awarded their Stage 1 Combat Infantry badge, which means July most likely was their first operation our first mission of this operation in their careers in the unit. I know one of these soldiers, Robinoff, is a returning soldier who participated just earlier this year, or last year, late last year, in the same operation. So his is more or less just an administrative paper delay, we'll call. But these 6 soldiers are achieving their first stage. So those that don't know are fairly new. The stages go by operations, not missions. So you only earn 1 stage of a combat infantry badge per operation, which means what we've been doing for the last several months has been only 1 op. That's called Operation Thin Ice, what we're in right now, with multiple stages and phases of missions. So big hua and congratulations. Hua. Bellface. Congrats. Fall back in. All right, go ahead and get me Brock post. Bellface. All right, so I always mess this name up of this chord. It's called the French Fourzier. I don't know how the hell you say it, but if you look on our awards page, there is a chord on there that we award. It's technically issued in the real 3rd Infantry Division for just being in the Infantry Division. For us, we molded that into qualifying it for the skill badges. So we know that there's an airborne badge, a skill badge. There's an air assault skill badge. There's an EIB expert infantry skill badge. The Ranger tab skill badge as well. So to earn this French Cord, it is achieving 3 out of 4 of those skill badges that we present and that we go through schooling for. So in this case, with the completion of Air Assault School, Sergeant Brock has achieved 3 out of 4. Only one not achieving is the Expert Infantry badge course. So congratulations. I mean, we have actually a good chunk of soldiers that are just 1 badge away, whether that is an airborne school or an air assault school or a ranger school. I mean, those that attended ranger school earlier this summer, back in June, that's probably the hardest one to achieve besides EIB, because EIB doesn't come around very often either. But when those opportunities come, again, kind of clear that schedule and try to get in on those. So big hooah to Sergeant Brock. Hooah. About face. Actually, stand by. About face again. You're up here already. Why call you again? Sergeant Brock also is hereby being awarded the Army Achievement Medal. Not his first one in the unit, but he meets the requirements, successfully taking over the squad of Scorpions. Really just the inspiration and the correct mindset to get the squad running efficiently, making sure that there isn't any gaps, after taking over for Sergeant Shade, who then moved up into our platoon RTO slot. So it created that opportunity to promote another solid leader that we have in our unit, as well as showing that he can do the job. I know Sergeant Shade took an LOA a couple months ago for a little while, and Sergeant Brock, as the 2IC of that squad, stepped up and really showed that he can do that job, and that's what made it such an easy shoe-in for whenever Sergeant Shade moved on and Sergeant Brock took over. And from there, I mean, that squad is extremely solid, and with his leadership is a reason why we're also, again, going to be announcing opening that 3rd squad today. So congratulations and hooah. Thank you.
Hooah.
Hooah. About face?
Hooah.
Congrats.
Thank you, sir.
Fall back in. All right. So next up, go ahead and get me Sam, Carey, Skitz, Sanders, Vandenberg, Moose, Purdy, O'Hara, and Lucky post. A little bit big of a list, but we'll make it happen. All right, about face. All right. So these soldiers, probably one of our largest lists for promotions in a while, are entering the E4 Mafia, what we call the specialists, right? It's an E4B. Entering that specialist rank not only qualifies for a lot of these soldiers for DMOSs, many of them are already fire team leaders or in a leadership role of some sort. They're participating is the major one. Major requirement is participating in a DMOS. So they are helping the admin side of the unit. We all know that we have the combat side with our platoon and our company and our 3 cab. But then we also have the admin side of the unit, which is very vital to the success of our combat side of things. So that's why we make it one of our requirements that every soldier to keep moving up in their career has to provide a little bit more into the unit, care a little bit more, and provide us hopefully with some of their skill sets, because some of our DMOSs do require skill sets like CID, having to use Photoshop. RRO, you got to be people's person in a way. You know, you got to sweet talk those new soldiers in, right? That's how all you guys got conned into coming in, right? You had a good recruiter, hopefully, that was able to talk to you about how the unit runs, get you understanding the SOPs and how things are done in our unit. So, but big hood of these soldiers for achieving E4 specialist, and a special call out to actually Specialist Pretty here. If you look, he's been already promoted to specialist. Those that don't know, we do have a Stripes for Buddies program, and in this case, Pretty qualified through Stripes for Buddies and was promoted early above all others for recruitment. Bringing in 5 soldiers who then also turned around and completed basic training is the requirement, and then filed that promotion under his COC. So officially, if you are a private second class right now, you could get up to specialist just for recruitment into getting people to join the unit and bringing people in. You can also make it to PFC for recruitment of 3 soldiers, so it's kind of staged. In this case, when Specialist Pretty did all his large promoting, or I should say large inbringing of soldiers, he was already a PFC. So once he hit that 3 mark, you're not promoted to PFC again, right? And then hitting that 5 mark, and then the key is that they complete basic training, they complete OSET, is very vital because anybody can bring people in and then never see them again. So that's why they have to be an active member to qualify. So a big call out to him, and obviously one of our first Stripes for Buddies programs this year, and we're in August. So we got, if you're looking for those promotions and you're under the rank of specialist, by all means, get after it. Congratulations, Hua. Ballface. Congrats. Fall back in. All right. Next up, go ahead, get me Fields and Brennan post. I think Fields is just coming in.
Oh, and zipping up the line.
All right, Ballface. All right. So you might not be able to hear us because I think he's on the other side of the map. According to this, Private Fields moved towards Flagpole. Let's see. So these 2 soldiers are hereby being awarded the Army Commendation Medal, and both are with Valor. So I'll read off the citations. So the Army Commendation Medal is a medal that can be given for, great leadership in a non-combat environment or with a combat environment, awarded usually with a V device. So I'll read off Brennan's here since Fields isn't here yet. Meets the requirement. Is that Fields coming in? Hey, perfect. All right, Ballface. During combat mission Desert Fox, Warrant Officer Brennan commanded the 3rd Cab assets and provided critical support to the ground elements, saving countless lives with calling in close air support through his fellow pilots, as well as providing needed supplies and reinsertions into a combat hostile environment. So just being able to get in there, I know last mission and the one prior to that one prior 2 missions ago, so about a month ago, I know ran low on all medical, we ran low on almost all ammo, and getting supplies brought into us when we're, knees deep in combat isn't an easy task, definitely when 3 cabs hauling this big ass aircraft through the air trying to drop stuff for us. So goes to show the leadership that Brennan provided, and then also kind of the courage and bravery to drop it in close, knowing that he could possibly not only lose his aircraft, but then also get KIA, and then we're all SOL. So Fields here meets requirement with V device during mission Desert Fox. PFC Fields combat-aided platoon leader, Cadet Lambert, which resulted in picking up critical wounded soldiers. Osiet Lambert was wiped out by a enemy technical within 50 meters. The platoon advanced forward, leaving Cadet Lambert critically wounded and unconscious in a defilade alone. Thankfully, PFC Fields, who was already carrying and aiding another wounded soldier several hundred meters behind the platoon, spotted platoon leader Cadet Lambert, WIA, wounded in action, and provided aid to carry both wounded soldiers several hundred meters alone to a battlefield, or on the battlefield to a CCP. So in this case, Lambert, like any good officer, was shot in the ass and unconscious. Seems to be very common for a lot of our leadership to make that happen, or to have that happen to us. I guess I lead right or wrong, I don't know, but that's what happens to us. To have PFC Fields here jump in and execute, I mean, being able to render aid not only to soldiers that he was already rendering aid to, but then also providing aid to another soldier, in this case Cadet Lambert, I mean, earns him the Army Commendation Medal with Valor. All soldiers lived under his care, and it's just what he did. So congratulations. Hua.
Cool.
All right. Ballface. Congrats. Fall back in. All right, next up, go ahead, get me Skanar, Neeson, Abel, Tuplek, Purdy, Brock, and Skits. Post. All right, cover down a little bit, Brock. There you go. All right, Ballface. All right. These soldiers are hereby being awarded the Joint Service Achievement Medal, so the JSAM. As I talked about DMOSs earlier, the JSAM is one of those medals that is only awarded through DMOS actions, along with its cohort, the Joint Service Commendation Medal. So the JSAM is the lesser of the two. So we have several citations to kind of read through. Most of them are through just excellence and commitment in the DMOS that they're currently serving in. So Skanar, base maintenance, outstanding, serving, dedicating as the NCYC, and making sure all BMO requests are handled efficiently and properly. Neeson, for combat imaging and documentation, so CID, completing numerous uniform and signature updates upon being accepted into the DMOS. These are both DMOSs. The BMO CID are ones that aren't shiny, flashy, cool, right? Like we have FIG, which is, in-game, your combat simulation, you're doing things, in-game, so it's a little bit more interactive, right? BMO, CID, they're all out of game, so they're not one that is, I guess, flashy, and they require some sort of skill level like CID, like as I mentioned earlier. So then we have Tuplek and Pretty, which are being awarded the JSAM for excellence in recruitment. Obviously, we already talked about Pretty on earning his Stripes for Buddies program promotion to specialist, but then Tuplek again is a soldier that I constantly see in the recruitment forums. I constantly see replies and handling applications. So big hoo to these two. Abel is hereby being awarded the JSAM for FIG for his his sustained high quality of training as a cadre member of FIG. Since day one in his service of FIG, Abel has dedicated himself to providing valuable instruction to our unit and our OSET trainees, serving as a range safety officer and now drill instructor. He has contributed his time, talent on almost a weekly basis, his attention to detail, commitment, and to to duty standing in the line of the highest standards of FIG. So a nice write-up by his FIG NCYC, with being able to provide that high standard of training, making sure that we have soldiers coming out of training that understand what's required of them, how to do things. Nothing's more stressful to a fire team leader or a squad leader when you get a new soldier coming out of training and they don't know how to set their radio, don't know how to put their weapon on safe, don't know how to salute, don't know how to do this or that. And that's just stuff that basic training does. It gets us all on the same level so that we know the buddy next to us knows how to do something. So, and to top it off, we have Brock and Skits for their outstanding work in public affairs. So again, not exactly a flashy DMOS with Public Affairs Office writing up articles, but between these two, they basically run our Public Affairs Office, coming up with articles to write about. I know with Cadet Lambert providing guidance on what upcoming kind of military history or anniversaries are coming up, keeping our front page looking fresh. I know they handle, after ceremony here, they handle the promotion awards post, and they just do an outstanding job showing the image of the 3rd ID and what we do, which is really what draws people into our unit, is our image. And PAO manages that. So a big hooah to these soldiers for all they have done in DMOSs, and for real, providing so much to keep this unit going. So a big hooah. Congrats.
Hooah.
All right. Go ahead, Boutface. All right. Fall back in. Hey, Doug. All right. So next up, go ahead, get me Tuplek and Abel. Post. All right, Boutface. All right, these two soldiers are hereby being promoted to the grade and rank of E4A Alpha Corporal. So achieving not only time in service, time in grade, they are taking care of their soldiers. Both serve in a leadership style. I know Abel here is a fire team leader currently. Tuplek, squad medic. Right? Yeah, squad medic. And being able to, not only handle, in this case, fire team members or CLS members, they provide a leadership stance on things. Being able to lead from the front, take care of their troops. We kind of just talked about both these soldiers on their DMOS side of things, but you could see that it's definitely just who they are. And they take care of themselves, take care of their soldiers, take care of the unit. And entering the NCO Corps now as a junior grade NCO, being a corporal, it's the sky's the limit. And I know we will see these guys up here a lot in the future, knowing what they can do. So congratulations and hooah. Welcome to the NCO Corps. Boutface? Yeah. Congratulations. Fall back in.
Thank you, Major.
All right, next up, go ahead, get me Brock, post. All right, Boutface. All right, Sergeant Brock here has, something that came out of last month. I mentioned the Humanitarian Service Medal. Moving to also another qualification that you can earn this medal through, and that's through our clan lists. Sergeant Drake and COE developed a way that our profiles now track how many times we have voted in a month on clan lists as our individual. So it tracks up to technically 2 times a day, 2 times in 24 hours. You have to be on 2 separate devices, so whether that's your computer and then your mobile, an iPad or something, 2 different forms of connection. So being able to do that, you can qualify or you could technically vote up to 60 times on our clan lists in a month. That's tracked through us. There is more ways, obviously, that there's, you can vote on any device and things like that, but it tracks up to 2 times for us. So in a 30-day calendar, you can get up to 60 times of voting, and it's tracked on your profile. And it's a concurring rolling calendar. So it's 30 days. It doesn't mean the 1st through the 30th. It's, it could be the 15th through the 15th. So since this started, Sergeant Brock has done that. So to qualify for this, it is 60, not 59, not 57, 60 times in 30 days. Sergeant Brock has been tracked for voting on clan lists. So with that, I'd like to award him the Humanitarian Service Medal for doing so. We've had some that were in the 50s, so I mean we're making a hell of a lot of progress. Anytime you look at clan lists, we're actually always in the top echelon side, top 5 for sure, but usually in that 1 and 2 slot, which draws a lot of soldiers in. Some of you in this formation have found us through clan lists. I look at generally every single application that come in, and I see the first thing I look at is name, age, making sure that they qualify, and then where'd they hear us from? Where'd they find us? And then I like reading about why they want to join the 3rd ID, because it gets you prideful of being in the unit, that, hey, this inspired this person. Transitioning more into the DMOS side of things as well for Sergeant Brock, he's being awarded the Joint Service Commendation Medal. So we talked about FIG, the nice write-up with now Corporal Abel, but then the man that leads this FIG into kind of that new era of accountability and doing outstanding in training and consistency, and producing the soldiers that we have in front of us right now, credit goes to Sergeant Brock. He won't take it because he's definitely one of those leaders that, it's all about the troops under him. But with that, just the commitment to infantry OSET classes, training, and then all the new cadre that come along. And he's taking care of all that, dedicating a lot of his own personal time to outside our standard operating of a Saturday, Sunday, and doing what he can to the unit. So a big hoo to him. Congratulations.
Hooah.
All right, Bellface. Congrats, Sarge.
Thank you, sir.
All right, fall back in. All right. Go ahead and get me Drake and Lambert post. All right, Bellface. All right. So, if you haven't met these two, they haven't yelled at you then. That's good. So, these two obviously are your Widowmaker 6 and 7. The amount that they provide into the unit is unmeasurable. To hold these two roles is extreme dedication. You look at both these soldiers. One lives in Europe, so it is, plus, 7 hours right now? So it's 7, 8 o'clock for you right now, Drake?
From 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. And Lambert, living in Australia. All right, so in Australia right now, it is like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. for him.
4 a.m.
4.
Major.
Damn math. Oh, then I don't care. Then you can get out of this formation. That's 4 a.m. Anybody can wake up at that time to do a game. But the dedication is there, like no other. So to call them out, I know we went through our promotion board this last month, and Sergeant Drake, since stepping in from a squad leader role into the platoon sergeant role, has non-stopped been efficient, effective, and inspirational. With that, it kind of inspired me. I mean, he does outstanding work in COE. He does a lot of accountability pieces, make sure that nothing is skipped, nothing is overturned, or should be overturned, I should say. Which then, really puts him in the role that he's in, right? As a platoon leader, So with that, I'd like to actually fast track him, voiding 2 months time in service off of his needed for Staff Sergeant. So he's hereby being promoted to E6 Staff Sergeant to continue to fulfill his role as a platoon sergeant of Widowmakers. Ooh.
Hooah.
All right. So next up, we have this cadet, who's been again somebody you can shadow what we said for Drake onto Lambert. Just the dedication alone, the time difference. I mean, when he's texting me in the morning, my morning, he's going to bed, and just the communication piece. He makes sure that we're constantly in communication, letting me as the company commander apprised of things throughout the unit, throughout the group of soldiers. There's times that I have to look up and say, "What are you still doing up?" It's like 1 a.m. in the morning. He's like, "Oh, I just woke up," because he's on EST time in Australia. And this isn't the first soldier that's done this. We have a lot of dedicated soldiers that do a lot of that if they live in that part of the world. But to continue to do that and then also lead at a high level as a platoon leader. The last couple months, Cadet Lambert and I have spent a lot of time together going over leadership material. He's being drilled on books that I issued him to read as an officer, and making sure that he understands and has that mindset that we need as a top echelon leader, an officer in this unit, to make sure that he leads correctly, he leads efficiently, that we have the type of leadership we need from an officer to sustain that position. So with that, I'd like to finally get him out of that cadet corps and issue him his butter bar as being commissioned to a second lieutenant. Ooh. All right, so just let me set this up here in a second. We're going to do the oath of office as an officer for Cadet Lambert, and then the first salute, which then we selected Staff Sergeant Drake to be his first salute as an officer, official officer. All right. All right. All right. Lambert, about face. All right. So, repeat after me. That's where you say after me.
After me.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Bailey Lambert, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I take this obligation freely without mental
reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of which I'm about to enter.
That I will... Well, it's very early for me.
That I will well and faithfully discharge the duties.
I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office that I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Cool. Second Lieutenant.
All
right. So now Sergeant Drake, Lieutenant Lambert, face in.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Staff Sergeant.
All right. Face forward. All right. So, that was kind of the commissioning ceremony for the most part. You know, the lieutenant taking care of getting through OCS. I mean, it's as an officer, you're what, Lambert? Always learning, right? You're always using that self-education. You know, always reading, always figuring out stuff. I know the amount of kind of reading materials and I guess scenarios that I threw at the lieutenant here. He kind of knocked out of the park. Reading the books that he's currently reading, that you know I've read in the past, that I found true value in the leadership style and the leadership message that's in there. It just goes to show that we're going to be led. This platoon is going to be led by one of the best. So making sure that we have that soldier up front and present and here is key. So a big hoo and congratulations, Lieutenant.
Thank
Oh.
you.
All right, Bellface. Fall back in.
Whoop.
All right, double check my notes before we get on to getting these, well, everybody out of here. And then we're coming up on an hour. Oh, actually over an hour. Big shout out to everybody that is, I'm streaming this if you haven't, I know I have a couple soldiers watching it as well that are actually enlisted in the unit. But we have pretty big alumni right now watching this ceremony, including a former Lieutenant Johnson, a Major Captain Lipnitz, which used to run our Bravo company, as well as a few other soldiers, Lermy, McCullen. So they're watching us right now saying hooah and congratulations. Fisher is here as well. So we just, it's a pretty good group of people right now watching the stream. And obviously they're happy. You know, I see a lot of comments about soldiers saying great times, can't believe, you know, what we're doing. And so it's nice to see that and have that. As we kind of move into this next step of, you know, the soldiers that set the way. I mean, a lot of these are retired soldiers in our unit that have been through growth, have been through recession, you know, and to be able to celebrate and talk about the growth that we're about to embark on. I'd like to get Corporal Abel up here. So go ahead, Corporal Abel, post. All right, Bellface. All right, so we talked about opening that third squad, officially Spartans. So Corporal Abel was selected out of, honestly, a good chunk. You know, we have a lot of potential great leaders to run a squad, to lead from the front. Much like what we talked about with the awards already awarded out. I know Corporal Abel was up here, being able to lead that way, to show that dedication. It's what we need and require out of an SL, a squad leader. So Corporal Abel is going to lead Spartans from the front and be able to, you know, show what it is that he requires out of his team. You know, we'll kind of go through and I'll announce here the people, not the full list of people being transferred, but the fire team leaders and the squad leaders. I mean, the squad medic that's also being moved over to Spartans. But I did want to kind of go through and talk a little bit about the history of Spartans. So believe it or not, I had to go back in the way back machine for our website to see when was the last time we had or the first time we opened a third squad. So this was back in July of 2013 was the earliest time I guess I could find. I know in like 2010, I'm pretty sure we did. But this was before we actually started naming it in ARMA. So I kept with just the ARMA days, not the day defeat or the America's Army days of our first platoon, third squad. So back in 2013, third squad used to be called Reapers at the time, was actually opened by none other than who's currently still in the unit, Sergeant Brad Alice. So that was back in July of 2013. is when that. So then from there, we kind of skip forward to June of 2015, to where 3rd Squad officially took its first name as Spartans, led by Staff Sergeant Terrio. So that was something that some of you remember that name. It gets better. So then in January of 2016, again, 3rd Squad continued to thrive in Arma, led by a Sergeant Tom Day, which actually went on to be a lieutenant in this unit and lead the platoon. And he's a retired soldier. In March of 2016, it was taken over after, at that time, Staff Sergeant Day moved up into the platoon by a Sergeant O'Connor, which was a military vet that served with us. Skipping ahead a couple years in actually May of 2016. So this name rang true, and he's actually in this formation today. And in fact, being moved with as a fire team leader into 3rd Squad Spartans. Tucci led Spartans back in 2016 for actually quite a while. Almost over a year, I think he was an SL, achieving the rank of Staff Sergeant in that role, until it then got transitioned into another soldier that is currently in this formation, and has held that role again for another good chunk of time. Sergeant Grigg has held the role as Spartans SL back in 2017. Then kind of 18, it transitioned back into Sergeant Terrio on upon of a re-enlistment. And then the last half of 2018, we started downsizing. We made a lot of changes in our unit, dropping games like America's Army, Insurgency Sandstorm, downsizing. I know we had soldiers that were actually present in our stream right now, chat, that retired. And we just needed to consolidate to get our leaders regrouped, and push forward onto where we're at right now, with opening our 3rd Squad once again under the command of Corporal Abel. So that's a little bit of history about that squad. I had to do some digging myself, as with a long history like that, it like 10 years, it takes a little bit of time to research that and follow that. With that, under the leadership of Corporal Abel, we have the squad medic being Vandenberg. As we mentioned, the 2IC first fire team leader is Tuchki, and then second fire team leader transferring over is Moose. So extremely solid leadership team, I think, from the top, to having the experience with Corporal Tucci in there, and then an up-and-comer with like Moose. So I feel Spartans is going to get off to a good start, leadership-wise. And, that means that these soldiers, those leadership soldiers, and the official list of what's coming out will be after today's operation. So just to clarify, today we're still running in the format of the 2 squads. But then we are also, throughout this week, you'll start seeing some changes, some processing of soldiers. The actual list of who's moving over to Spartans will be released as well, and then you'll see those transfers on PersComs. And then it gives them kind of that full week as a squad to sit down, come up with their game plan, their mission, their values, and how they want the culture of their squad to be, and move forward, ready to go for technically their first squad drill being, I believe, August 8th, that Saturday. So other than that, that's humongous. So feel proud. RRO, FIG, every soldier here that has made sure that they kept soldiers, their battle buddies, active, coming on and being present here. This growth wouldn't happen without soldiers like you, and then obviously our leadership that I mentioned earlier. So a big hua and be proud. This is amazing. Hua.
Ooh.
All right, Bellface. Congrats, Corporal. All right, fall back in. All right, so that kind of wraps up our August. Running on an hour 10 minutes. So with that, I will get the lieutenant up here to say any closing remarks. Post, lieutenant. Take charge of your platoon, lieutenant.
Oh, thank you, Major. All right, Widowmakers. Just a few closing points here before we start moving into the combat operation time.
I gotta make sure he's. Oh crap!
Congratulations
It's gonna get loud.
to everyone who received an award, promotion, or is moving into a different billet. Everyone's earned everything that they received today, and I want everyone to keep up the hard work across this month of August, moving into next month as well. Just a couple maintenance things. So let's make sure we submit our CID updates as soon as possible, so your
Where's, like, the
leadership
punish?
doesn't have to
There it is.
request it after a couple of weeks.
We're gonna make
So
sure he has to
sure
do
you
some push-ups
submit
here
those CID updates
as a
soon
lieutenant.
possible. Update your TeamSpeak names if you got a promotion. Update your armor names before the combat mission if you got a promotion. That being said, the combat mission is to step off at 1500 Eastern, so make sure you are ready to go in formation, in gear, roughly from 14:30. Should be sort of starting to load in and starting to get ready. That
Thanks,
way
Johnson.
we're ready to go.
All right, lieutenant.
As a casual
Oh, hold
reminder, please do not submit a BMO profile update for any ranks or awards. Okay, the list will be submitted by Major to base maintenance, and they will attach it all. You don't need to submit again, because there's always one soldier who will submit it. You don't need to submit any profile updates in BMO for your rank or awards, anything like that, or billets. That will all be done in relation to 3rd Squad Spartans.
No, I'm not doing that for sure.
Um,
Blow them all away. We got a mission after this. Can't be hurt.
yeah, and just for the last thing, there's a lot of us in the unit now, and including our expansion to 3rd Squad Spartans. So please allow time for requests and updates to be done. It's always huge the first day, and it'll be a backlog for all those CID updates to get done. A lot of work for BMO as well, so just give it time. Soon you get your request in, soon it'll get done as well. And for 3rd Squad Spartans, or both of your Scorpions and Ghosts, just so you're aware, that squad will come into effect on 11:59 p.m. Eastern tonight. So 23:59.
All right.
As soon as
Hey,
it
thanks for the
hits
follow.
the 3rd of August, that's when Spartans will come into effect. Alright, but your leadership will be prepping you after the combat mission and after your debriefs, so you should be prepared before that, as you'd already know throughout the whole week.
All right, lieutenant.
Other than that, go ahead.
One thing, I know if I didn't mention this, Dasser and Drake would get on me, but we do have a mod update from COE being pushed out tomorrow, I believe, right, Drake?
Affirm.
This will include a couple things that we've talked about. So this mission today is actually our last mission on this map. All right, we will be transitioning into a new one, Lithium, which Sergeant Scanar, as well as myself, have kind of vetted and moving into. So kind of a new storyline there, new terrain, so a new look there. And then also, we are transitioning back to Task Force Radio per the vote that we took back in early July, late June, to revert back to Task Force Radio. I believe it was over a 70% approval rating to get back to Task Force Radio. which makes it a little bit easier. But I guess each one did have its pros and cons. So as I said, I honored my word with going with the vote and moving that way. So we're all on board. So there'll be a little bit of transition lag there. New radios will revert back to the old ways. So luckily we still have all the documentation for that and what squad's on what signal or what channel and things like that. So look forward to that here midweek for releases from the lieutenant and staff sergeant here on where we'll be going with that. And then I think that's really it. Maybe a couple little bugs here and there that's being transversed in our mod pack. But so you will have to make sure that you're on midweek to update your mod set for the following weekend here. And without further ado, as now a commissioned lieutenant, I can do this to him. All right. So this is the first and last time you'll probably see your officer down in front of you doing some push-ups. All right. Because now he has the ability to just do it to anybody besides me, which is nice. Before back.
That was my kangaroo.
Yeah, back in the day, we used to make them run around the formation for a while. I'm pretty sure some of those that are on the stream chat remember those days. But again, in ending, and I'll hand it back. Congratulations, Lieutenant. Look forward to what we can do with Widowmakers.
Whoa.
Cool.
That's all I got for you, first platoon. So first platoon is dismissed.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for stopping in, all our retired vets and soldiers of the Third ID, and those that we're up to 45 people on Twitch right now, and another half dozen on YouTube. So glad to see that our soldiers stop in, our retired people check in. Ceremony is always a special part of the month for us, being able to recognize our soldiers and make sure that their efforts and their what they go above and beyond for is recognized, which is just a key part of leadership. So big hua, and appreciate everybody that stopped in. And if you haven't hit that follow button or that subscribe button, please do so. Appreciate it. And then we'll be back here in about half hour to load up for our next mission we're going to be doing. I forgot what the heck they called it. But yeah, Operation Thin Ice. I'll be able to put the Warno out and see that. But thanks for stopping in, everybody, and hope to see you here in about a half hour, 45 minutes. Have a good night or a good day.